Good afternoon. Is it good? Perfect. How are you, everyone? Was the lunch good? It's super hard to compete with the food. So really hoping that all the guys will be on a main stage soon. Great to be here. Thank you for the invitation. Today, like Kai said, we will talk about technology for sustainability. What are the trends and challenges and opportunities along the way? Before we dig deeper, I would like to introduce the panelists and myself as well. I'm start with myself. Kristjan Raude is my name. I'm coming from Estonia. I'm co-founder and CEO of One MTN. Nothing to do with MTN. We are 1 million ton nation, and we restore degraded lands and enrich biodiversity in East Africa. Specifically right now, we have a 10,000 hectare project of bamboo planting in northern Uganda. And we're also looking to enter into Kenya. So I'm most of the time actually living in East Africa. But before that, actually, I have been working with Latitude59 long years already. I was a full-time angel investor many years. I also lead the Latitude59 syndicates in the Baltic and Scandinavian region. So I'm happy to be here in a very special event as first Latitude59 satellite event in Kenya, Nairobi. Please, Reet, over to you. A couple of words about yourself.
Yes, thank you. Can you hear? Can you hear me? Yes, you can. Hello, my name is Reet Aus. I'm coming from Estonia as well. I'm senior researcher at the Estonian Academy of Arts and also designer in the company called Aus Design. And also one reason why I'm sitting here is that we have been running a project in Kenya together with Stockholm Environmental Institute. And I have my very good colleague actually sitting just in front of me, Harry Mora. We have been working with a method called UpMade, which is a circularity system for the factories in the textile industry. Thank you.
Good afternoon.
I think it's working.
Good afternoon. My name is Professor Thomas Kipkurgat. I am the Managing Director, Rivatex East Africa Limited, one of the largest textile mills in Kenya, and it's integrated textile mill. And I'm very sure if you are a Kenyan, you remember Rivatex. It's one of the oldest textile mill in Kenya. And we are supporting Pi Kenya, Pure Kenya. We have one of the largest production in spinning and weaving. And we have the most modern technology in Kenya. That's why we can produce 12,000 kilos of yarn per day. We can also produce 40,000 meters per day of gray fabric. We can also produce 70,000 meters of finished products per day. We also have a value addition center in Rivatex where we stitch discipline forces uniform and any other uniforms like gowns and all that. We support the entire value chain, the cotton value chain, all the way from the farmer to the GINA, and also for forward integration, which we produce the end product. This year we have supported 40,000 acres of cotton growing in Kenya. As you remember, cotton had died in Kenya because of the collapse of textile mills in Kenya. Rivatex was opened in 2019 as the most modern factory in Kenya and East Africa. And so therefore, we have having partnership also on recycling of textile waste with Estonia, Estonia Academy of Arts, and Stockholm Environmental Center as well. So we are very happy to be here. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I think despite the noise on the other side of the room, I just want to go ahead. I'm Romanus Opiyo. I'm here representing Stockholm Environment Institute. So in terms of just a brief introduction of Stockholm Environment Institute. So Stockholm Environment Institute is an international non-profit research, policy, and development organization with headquarters based in Stockholm, Sweden. But it has around 8 centers globally. So personally here I'm representing African Center, which is based in Nairobi. But we also have colleagues from Estonia, from the Tallinn Center, Harry Mora, who is seated here with you guys. So we hope we'll have an opportunity to interact and know more in terms of what we are doing and how we can be relevant in this area of apps and also startups and also the issue of sustainability. Thank you, and I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so much. So let's open up the topic and industry with kind of an open question. And I would like to address it to Romanus, and maybe also Thomas, you can give your inputs. Can you describe the current landscape of Kenya's sustainability ecosystem in general? What are the major challenges? 1, 2, 3. But at the same time, what could be the most important opportunities?
Thanks a lot, Kristjan, for that. Yeah? Just maybe a brief overview of sustainability landscape in Kenya. Yeah, I think the most reference document for judging sustainability reference in Kenya is Kenya Vision 2030, which has 3 pillars. Yeah? You have the social pillar, which talks about the issue of environmental and other issues. Yeah? And then you have the second pillar on economic pillar, which looks at the business-oriented and even the issue of GDP and others in terms of how the performance of the economy of this country. And then the last one is the political pillar, which actually looks at the issue of leadership, issue of governance. So using that as my basis of understanding the sustainability landscape in this country, I can say that there's been an effort, good effort, since the year 2002, which is around 20 years, to do a lot of things in terms of trying to embrace the sustainability of this particular country to ensure we produce, but in a responsible manner, in terms of how do we manage our production. But there's also been a good effort in terms of trying to attract investors in this particular area. And this also is aligned to the government commitment in the area of technology and innovations, where we have a lot of upcoming startups and also incubation centers, which actually is trying to embrace the aspect of employment to create job opportunities, because we know that in Kenya, being one of those African countries, we have over 30% being youth, being between 15 to 34 years. So that's the target. And recently, in the year 2022, with the current government, the president seems to be championing a lot of sustainability, especially from the environmental perspective. And you see even the COP, he was really given prominence in terms of his ideas and how this can be moved forward. I think one of his pet subjects on the environmental sustainability, and you know the issue of 15 billion trees, this is one of the things which I can say is maybe an overall landscape of sustainability in this Africa, in Kenya. But in terms of concern, I think one major concern which is threatening sustainability is a taxation regime, yeah? Because a lot of business feel now, they are feeling the burden that our taxation regime is not conducive for development. So this is a threat to sustainability, and also it reduces the competition of our country within the region. The second thing is the issue of skill set. Do you really have the right skill set which can help us to be sustainable? So this is related to issue of renewable energy and others which can support such kind of skill set. Where do you have such kind of forums where the apps, the new startups are trying to come up with innovative skill? I think this should be encouraged to do that. And then the third thing is the issue of infrastructure and also cost of doing business. To me, those are major threats of stability in the country. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything to add?
Thank you very much. I will definitely talk about textile sector in this country. I can tell you the government has really put a lot of effort for sustainability by supporting cotton growing in Kenya, because one of the major things is the raw material, and establishing also special economic zones, and also KIPes, and also export processing zones. Why is the government doing this for sustainability is in order for the country to continue doing textile or industrial manufacturing, you must have a ready market. And the market the president is trying to do is negotiating AGOA markets. When you have a AGOA market, definitely you have a market. And this all the time is a push from the cotton growing all the way to the forward integration. Why is that? Because if you grow cotton and you gene cotton and there's no market for it, then definitely farmers will be discouraged. So what the government is trying to do is provide seeds to the farmer and especially assure them with the market. For example, Rivatex is one of the market assurance that we provide to farmers, so that the farmer is assured that whatever they grow, they have a market for it. And that's what we can say sustainability of that sector. And for us now, Rivatex, we are working on international accreditation so that we can supply our products to AGOA market. And I can say through Potom Economic Transformation Agenda, which is a blueprint of Kenya Kwanza, they are making sure that we access international market so that we enhance, because as you're aware, we have 47 counties, but 24 counties can grow cotton. And those are semi-arid areas. And you always know that there's always insecurity in those areas. Like Baringo and West Pokot, all the way to Turkana area. Those are areas you can grow cotton. And cotton can do very well, and people can stop cattle rustling in those areas. So in order for sure the government to enhance this is to support the entire value chain. And that is what they are doing. And also at the same time, there's also a very steady market on animal feeds or cotton seed oil. A lot of animal feeds or cotton seed cake or cotton cake is imported from either Uganda or Tanzania. But this is something we can do it locally here. And therefore, if all the sectors have sustainability, definitely we'll have our own homegrown animal feeds. And of course, we can have our own textile that we can be proud of. And then therefore, as I said earlier, Rivatex is one of the modern textile mill. That means we can do economies of scale. We can cut cost of production. The modern machines now can reduce the cost of power by 30% because of the efficiency they have. They are actually automated machines that you can tell how much an operator has done for the day. Without even asking, you can click a button and they will give you the results, and even can print the results. So that I'm saying that we have a system already in place, which is a new technology. There are a few challenges, of course, as we say, is seeds. We have only one supply of seeds, which is the prices are extremely high. A company called Mexico from India, the prices are very high. But the government is trying to get more suppliers of seeds so that they can cut cost of production. And that can actually provide an avenue for competition and healthy competition for seeds in Kenya. One other challenge is cost of doing business, my colleague has said, is the cost of power. And of course, taxation that we have in this country. Those are some of the things that, if those things are enhanced in special economic zones and EPZ to reduce the cost of power, at the same time reduce the level of taxes, then at least we can have sustainability of textile. But those are the challenges: cost of power, cost of doing business. At the same time, competition from the mitumbas, are you aware? Our neighbors have banned mitumbas. Uganda, Rwanda. Rwanda has succeeded because they banned mitumba much earlier. But if we are supported to produce at a high efficiency, we can cut the cost of production at itself. Therefore, our products will be cheaper. Because if we cut the cost of doing business, reduce the cost of power, and enhance production efficiency, definitely our products will be cheaper, and people can wear uniforms, our own clothing here. Instead of supporting Mitumba clothing that is thriving in Kenya. And yet the farmers are crying also in the rural areas because they don't have market for their cotton. So I think this is a multifaceted effort that we must enhance for sustainability in this country. Thank you.
Thank you. Is on? No? Okay. One of the key success factors in every field is teamwork and collaboration. And if we look on the private sector, then not only Kenya, not only East Africa, but actually worldwide, the majority of the business is generated by SMEs, small and medium-sized enterprises, businesses. Reet, from your experience, Estonia is a digital nation, yes, but very small nation, 1.3 million people. How we can aggregate innovation within the SMEs to foster a more sustainable economic model? How we can work together?
That's a good question.
You don't hear? Yeah?
It's not working? No? Yeah? Up. This one working. Very good. We will share the microphone. Yes, talking about collaboration, I think there is one thing what we have to talk definitely is collaboration between businesses and academia, like research and development. Because if you see how the innovation actually finally comes to the big industry, it always starts from the small. It always comes from some kind of research, usually, then it will be implemented in the small scale, and then it always goes to the bigger scale. When we're talking about textile and fashion industry, which is unfortunately my research area, then the industry is global. It doesn't matter where actually you do the research, but if you would like to test it, you have to go global as well. So years ago, when we started to work with the UpMade idea, we tested it first in the Bangladesh, where are the biggest factories. Then we moved to India, now to Kenya. We're working in Turkey, Poland, Estonia, etc. That shows that basically you can implement the idea in every location where is the industry, and the industry is really, really spread around. Of course, it's much bigger in the mentioned areas like Bangladesh, Asia, or Africa than in Europe, for example. But just working together and testing it like this, it actually gives the benefit. And when we are talking about digital solutions, then one of the biggest problems actually in every industry, it's not only in fashion, is the transparency. How we can actually get validated information to make environmental calculations or to calculate how much waste do we have in the production, etc. And as EU is presenting the digital product passport already next year, and one of the most, I would say, difficult part of this is how we can get this validated information from here, where these products are done. And this is what actually Professor Thomas was talking about, how we have to go really back to the beginning. But even if we are doing it here locally, and we know that we have done it well, if we don't have the proof or the validation, because the product's life cycle is way longer than just the production phase. And when we are going now back to Europe, then we are only the consumers. We actually have no idea how the product is made. And when we don't need it anymore, then we throw it away and we have no idea what happens with it later on. So it means that all this life cycle has to be covered. And the only way to do it is, of course, to do it digitally. So the UpMade system deals with the first part of the product life cycle. We work with the factories. We help them to analyze their environmental footprint. We help them to analyze the efficiency of production. We basically have two main algorithms. One is the waste analysis, the other is environmental analysis. And with that information, we can actually come to the market. Then the information comes to the market together with the product, because all the calculations they have done product-based. And now the next phase to see what happens when the product is already used, then you have to adapt that information as well, how to repair it, where to take it when you don't use it anymore. Is it how to recycle it? What kind of material has been used, like different parts in the product, etc., etc. So it's whole long process, and yes, it has to be digitalized. It's not there yet. This is something what we are working with different locations in all around the world with the factories to test it. But when we're coming back to Kenya, then Kenya has, yes, Thomas has been talking about the production, and this is like one issue. But for Kenya, for example, is one of the biggest problems mentioned by Thomas is actually post-consumer waste, what to do with that. And we don't even follow that information. We have no idea how much it comes in. We don't know how much actually we send it out from Europe. This is a kind of gray area. And I think to bring light in that industry, you can't do it in the other way. You have to really go very digital. You have to map every step in the process. And in that way, actually, you can make a decision as a customer later on what product is sustainable and what is not. So yes, there is a lot of work has to be done. And it's very complicated because it's all over around the world. It's not just one place.
That's super fascinating and interesting topic, actually, because I'm an end consumer, okay? I will go to the shop, doesn't matter, everywhere in the world. Now, you just described the whole economy behind it, how this final product of shoes, whatever, in terms of textile industry, will reach to the shelves. And now I'm a simple-minded consumer, heavily influenced by marketing, by emotions. So how I can go to the store, check the product, and also validate, is it really sustainable or not?
You
is
can't
it,
right
is it
now.
kind of scores, what you envision? Is it colors, what you envision?
Yeah.
How we make it so easy that everyone understands?
So EU is regulating it right now quite strongly. And the one tool what they are now implementing is the digital product passport. The first step of the digital product passport will just give this kind of overall information about the product. But probably, hopefully, the next steps will be that we have like environmental calculations in there, or the supply chain, all the chain is transparent, and you basically just using the QR code, which is probably the easiest. It's not decided yet what kind of system it will be, but probably it will be QR code. You just check it, and you have all information, and you can actually make a decision in the much better way. Yeah.
Thank you. Now, if you're going to the kind of a general picture in Kenya, then I have general question to all of you, and maybe Thomas and Romanus can start with. I like your president's ambitions, President Ruto's ambitions. He's coming from the textile industry, but also he is a botanist. So sustainability, nature is very close to his heart. Recently, you introduced 15 billion tree planting campaign, and even you announced a free public holiday to really get people on a field and plant trees. That's all good. Still, how we ensure that sustainability efforts like this of tree planting campaign are not just a symbolic campaign, but actually leads to a long-term environmental benefits.
Thank you very much. As you are aware, climate change has been a global problem. I remember when I was very young, there used to be a lot of trees, there used to be a lot of rain. Sometime when we were going to primary school, we could divert our routes to areas where there is no water. The dams were full, many trees, many fruits. We didn't even have to worry about fruits because there were so many in the forest. And therefore, from that time, things change because of deforestation. And that's been a big challenge for this country. And therefore, in order for us to go back there, it has to be a lot of deliberate effort. And we appreciate the president because he's a guru for climate change. And you can see globally he's talking about it. He gave us a holiday to plant trees, and he's always getting funding to support tree growing in Kenya, so we can bring that glory of weather and at the same time food security in Kenya. Because we rely on rain, most people cannot afford irrigation projects in Kenya, so definitely we rely on rainfall. So without rain, there's no food. And that's why one of the key idea is to support agriculture. And that's why he's giving a lot of subsidy on fertilizer so that people can grow. But even if we have subsidy of fertilizer and there's no rain, we will go nowhere. And so one of the things for sustainability of this project is to set up a policy. He has to pass a law in parliament saying that everybody is obligated to plant trees, companies are entitled to plant trees, and the government needs to set up a date every year to plant trees. Otherwise, this ambition might end if there's no policy in place. So I think for the president, he will have to set up a policy. And I think that is his idea, is to do that, as he secured some funding the other day in COP28. And I think he got some funding also in India. And I think this can be a policy project that he can do, so that at least we receive enough rain as we used to. Otherwise, the rain we receive now, farmers' output is very low because of the short rainfall. Even El Nino, we talked about it, but I come from Wasingishu County. We don't have that much rain, and yet we are the food basket in this country. We produce a lot of food for this country, for everyone, but we don't have enough rain there, as they talked about El Nino. There are in those other areas where there is a desert, actually, they don't have enough food to grow in those areas. So I want to say that the effort President is putting up is the wise idea. We need to grow trees. We need to grow even in every space we have in our country, even though population has really made demarcation of land to be that small, to be very small because of the of cultural issues we have in Kenya. Like I'm sure you know, Reet, that if you have 5 sons and you have 10 acres, you divide into 2. So you make it uneconomical in this country. And I think with the technology now coming up, I think the young people will stop subdividing land and do other technology things so that the land is left for food security and forestation as well, reforestation. So, and I think President will sustain by setting up a policy. And that's what I believe in. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Just to add my voice on that, maybe from the Stockholm Environment Institute, we believe in science informing policy and practice, yeah? So that being the trend in terms of analyzing this good gesture by the president, I think it will be very important in terms of monitoring this particular gesture, in terms of ownership. How is this 15 billion trees project being owned by the community? Of course, through the Forest Act, Kenya Forest Act, you have the community forest associations, which are supposed to do a very critical role in terms of ensuring this buying in at the community level. I think secondly is the issue of tracking through monitoring and evaluation. How do we monitor to ensure that after every 3 years, for instance, we're able to see this the space which has been planted? Because for now, there's no clear science informing that, and I think ministry and other partners can join in to ensure that the president initiative is really informed by that, so that we are able to track the 15 billion trees agenda. Otherwise, it's a good initiative by the president being the champion of this. Thank you.
Brett, do you have anything to add? Or you can talk about maybe a World Cleanup Day
Yeah.
campaign in that sense.
I mean, all these campaigns are very good. I mean, because mostly they actually bring awareness, and I think that's the most important thing. It's just I had very interesting discussion with one German environmental activist like a few days ago, and she said something I never thought before, because we are so used to think that greenwash is very bad, yeah? And she was very worried, being really activist herself, that when now EU bans the greenwash, then there will be so much less awareness in the society, and we will not talk so much about these topics. yeah, of course, it's the funny to see it that way. But basically, I really think like everybody who is even thinking about these issues, talking about sustainability, about circularity, care about to tell things out, every communication is good, because I think the main issue what we are facing related to sustainability topics is actually education. We don't have good education in the, even not in the universities. And when we are talking about kids going to school, it should be there already.
Okay, thank you. Dear audience, for the last question to the panelists, I need your inputs. Who are from you as startups, founders? Who is thinking to be a founder or entrepreneur? We have some hands, good. So, the panel discussion is about technology for sustainability. And every founder, every startup has opportunity to choose which industry they will start to build their startup. Of course, in Africa, it's fintech, health tech, edtech is very attractive because there is funding, there is fame, visibility, etc. But actually, the technology for the sustainability in terms of the long period perspective of the world, of the country, of the region is the most crucial one. What is your one sentence call to action to all these entrepreneurs there, or potential entrepreneurs, why they should build sustainability technology startup?
I think just one word is just you should be able to trace your steps. So tracing is very important in terms of us investing in monitoring and evaluation.
I think technology is the way to go. Without technology, we cannot survive, and it's very evolving. We have seen this in textile, for example. So in this...
Check your modem or router connection and try again.
So I was just trying to say that technology is the way to go. You can see many people are creating employment through space. And therefore, without effort in technology, we will go nowhere. For example, in our factory, for example, we have new machines, but already there are new other machines. Even you've seen the cars. There are new cars now. If you go to a Toyota company now, you'll find there's a new car. So in this technology space, we must survive and we must learn how we can keep up with the speed of technology. Every time countries like, for example, if you see iPhone is always being evolved. You remember why did Nokia died? Nokia was one of the best telephone companies in the world. But where is it now? They could not keep up with technology. So for young people to create employment, we have to go to the technology space in order to sustain and create employment in this world. Thank you.
As I'm a big fan of design, then I would say that look to the design. I mean, product design, service design, and of course, system design. Like it's all actually goes back to just design thinking. Doesn't matter what kind of tools we are using. Thank you.
Thank you so much, dear panelists. Our time is off. Dear audience, thank you so much for listening. I hope that you get some good golden nuggets from our panelists here. And see you already next time. Thank you.